WBLQ Westerly, W276DF Westerly. Now, another hour of the WBLQ Time Machine on Stereo 1230 and 103.1 FM. WBLQ Music.
So you're the lady on Brian's show.
I'm the lady on Brian's show.
Yeah. So, I notice that sometimes people from Canada, especially like the French Canadians over in Quebec. Yeah. Well, I know that everybody, I guess you guys all learn bilingual no matter where in the country, right? Because of Quebec.
French was my first language, actually.
I can actually hear the accent a little bit. Yes.
I was in French school till grade 4, and then grade 5 I had to switch, and it was very hard to switch. But I did speak French, but now it's like I've done so much English that I'm forgetting the French. But if I go to Montreal or Quebec, it's like, okay, I can understand it, but I can't speak it as fluently. But I can understand it definitely.
Okay, because my friends over at CJMQ are all bilingual, and they have perfect English though. Ted Silver's from Ottawa, where you are, I believe, right? You're from Ottawa?
I am in Ottawa. Yeah.
Yeah, well, that's an English speaking. You're in an English province, so. But you're right. You're very close to Montreal, though, aren't you? Like 2 hours or something?
About 2 hours. Yeah. Depending on traffic. If there's not traffic, it's less than 2 hours. But yeah, it's the traffic that.
Oh, okay.
Things down. Yeah.
Never been. Maybe one day when I get my passport. Used to be I could go up there with my license because we had relatives that lived in Rock Island, right on the border.
Rock Island, yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't exist anymore. They got absorbed into Stansted. I never understood why. Well, yeah, all that generation is gone now. I don't have any more Canadian relatives. Although my brother tells me that because my mom and her family were all French Canadian, that we could also get citizenship. So I don't dual.
Oh, nice. Yes.
I'm actually thinking of considering that. So
why not come to Canada? It's beautiful.
It is, and I love the people up there. It's just so daggum cold up there.
I know it's getting there, but I hope not yet, because my birthday's coming up and I still want to be able to sit outside and have a good party. But other than that, sometimes in September it is cold, but I'm praying that it gets cold after my birthday. So
well, there you go. Well, when's your birthday?
I am ready for the 14th
of September.
But I am so excited for Halloween this year.
Yes.
I love Halloween, and I know it brings the cold, but it's Halloween, so why not?
Once October gets here, everything goes out the window. My birthday's October 2nd, and we've had snow maybe 7-8 times over the years on my birthday. So
beautiful! Isn't that beautiful when it snows? The first snow.
The first snowfall of the year really is
beautiful. Yeah, and then after it's like, okay, now I can't drive.
Now I've had enough. Right. Now I've had enough. Exactly. So, anyway, for the purposes of those who are just tuning in on either WBLQ for our night show or on YouTube, I'm speaking with Sabrina Fallah. Now, Sabrina, you are the co-host of the Brian Sullivan Saturday morning show.
Yes.
How did that come about? How long you been doing that?
Well, Brian interviewed me October 31st of 2020. I'm trying to think. And it's funny because I love Halloween, so that was the perfect time to wake up early to go on the show. And then Brian was fantastic. He just loves what he does on the air. And then I stayed in touch, and then I stayed in touch with him for 2-3 months. And then I asked him, "Do you want to interview me again? It was fun." But then he said, "How about you just join me on the air?" So that's how it came about. Yep. And then I'm like, okay, cool.
And
I'll try that.
Yeah. And it sounds great. The nice thing is that the owner, Chris DePaula, is
Yeah.
very receptive to letting everybody just do their own thing, do their own shows. So he schedules them for whatever, and they do what they want. And
I
I just think
actually
it's great.
didn't. I actually did not expect Chris, because at that time I didn't know Chris that well. I knew him afterwards.
Mm-hmm.
So when he said yes, I'm like, that's interesting. I guess he must have heard me with Brian during the interview that made him think I was good for Brian, because Brian always tells me that I'm not trying to take over his show, that I'm just following him, which I am. I am not trying to take over anyone's show. It's his show. He has a following for his show. I'm just there just to have fun and enjoy that moment with Brian.
Well, you do sound like you have a lot of fun, and it is quite enjoyable. I'm very happy for Brian. He's doing something that he truly loves, and I'm really happy that he's on.
Yeah, me too.
And he's got a good friend to put on. So I wonder how he discovered you, though. That's interesting.
Oh, I can tell you.
Oh, I'd love to hear this.
So early 2020, can't remember the month, but early 2020, I contacted 96.7 The Buzz and got to DJ Gadget.
Oh, that's
she
right. It's a rock
interviewed,
station. Mm-hmm.
yeah, alternative rock, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So she interviewed me a few times because she just wanted to get to know me. And then Brian somehow heard about me and that she interviewed me. And then one day Brian added me online, and that's how I met him. But I didn't know Chris had so many stations. So I'm like, wait a second. So Brian is with 96.7 The Buzz too, or WBLQ. Like, and then I'm like, oh my God, there's 3 stations attached. So I had no idea. So but I met them on different stations, but they're all connected, which is cool. Yeah. I love it.
They are. You would be surprised if you went to the studio, because it's in the basement of a building in downtown Westerly.
Really?
And like a lot of radio stations have a nice, big, beautiful studio. And they have office space and all that.
Mm-hmm.
Well, this is not a huge place. This is a building. This is a little basement studio with one room that they do production in, and Chris's office, and a big open area where one little corner has the microphone and the play out computer. Wow. And it's all open with a conference area, conference tables and everything in the air. It's a very small little place. It's very comfortable, like home.
It looks pretty big when Chris films himself in the morning.
Oh, it sure does. Well, yeah, as studios go, it is kind
of the camera angle. It makes it look big, but I had no idea where it was located and about it being so tiny. But but that's very interesting.
Well, tiny in the respect that all the radio stations I ever worked at had separate, big rooms for traffic.
Oh yeah, of course, yeah.
The office spaces, and then you had an engineering room for the transmitter and all. And this place is so comfortable. I would, a great addition to that place would be a pool table. It's,
Oh my God. That's awesome.
Yep. So
yeah, I can't play pool because I am so short that I can't lean over the table.
Oh, you can't be any shorter than me or my mother's only 4'10", so you can't be shorter than my mother.
I am 4'11" in height.
Oh well, there you go.
But as you get older, you shrink too. As you get older, you do shrink. So I will shrink at some point.
Oh, our bones compress, as I told you this morning. Anyway, oh wow. Have you been on any other radio stations besides this little cluster here? I mean, I know you've been mentioned on a number of Canadian stations.
I am being played in Canada, United States, South America, Mexico, Europe, and the UK.
That's beautiful.
And more if it's being sent around, because some stations get my songs and I'm like, I don't remember sending it to you. Oh, so and so sent it. Oh, cool.
Oh,
nice.
wow.
Yeah, because I always tell them that it's okay if they spread it around, because I want my songs to be played,
Right.
So yes, spread it.
Yep, definitely. You know, the way music is programmed on stations these days, at least in the United States, and I suspect Canada is pretty much the same way. Most of at least the corporate owned stations, they have their own playlists, and it takes some mucky muck high up in the company that's, like the corporate program director to approve a song for the playlists of all the stations. 20, 30 years ago, the
Hmm.
program director or the music director would make their own local decisions, but it really isn't that way at
Hmm.
corporate stations. Now, little stations like WBLQ, like Chris, he lets us program pretty much what we want.
Yeah.
Um, I think that's great. And
Yeah.
radio may have to go back to a bit of that if they want to be relevant over the air radio, because there's so much on the internet that is much more expanded.
Right.
So that said, I think it's really cool that you're on stations at all, given that environment. You
I
sent me
work
a list
very
of
hard.
some decent sized stations, and I'm really
Yeah.
happy to see that.
I worked very hard. It took me 9 months to finally get on a mainstream station, which then led me to the other stations that
Mhm.
came after that. Yeah.
You've been at this a long time. When did you start? Well, first off, let's go this way. You started playing music in public for when did you start doing that?
I won my first competition at 14, and at 18 I started doing festivals and little shows at festivals and doing venues and stuff. So I really started going hardcore at 18 because I needed time to do vocal training. And actually, I didn't even know I needed vocal training. When I was 14, I just sang until I'm like, wait a second, there's vocal training? Well, that's why people's voices don't die after 2 or 3 hours singing. But yeah, I had to get that. And then I had to learn the guitar at 15, 16, because I was doing it all by myself. Yeah. So if I needed a band, I would try to find one. But putting a band together is not easy, especially if you can't find people who want to get to where you do want to end up. So most people I see just want to do it for fun. I want to do it as a career. I want to do it for life. So
Everyone should follow their dreams, and if you can do it for life,
why
absolutely
not do
do
it?
it.
Yeah.
Mhm. No, definitely. Um, oh, yeah. Actually, what I meant by that question about had you been on other stations, has anybody else interviewed you around the world? I would imagine you have been on, doing something like what we're doing or what you do with Brian.
Well, I can mention that Tommy Stafford
Mm-hmm.
from WBLQ, when
Mm-hmm.
I was on with Brian last year, um, he heard me on his show, and he told me that he knows people in England on BBC. So he actually got me connected with somebody on BBC,
Oh,
which got me
that's
on that
wonderful.
station. And then from that, Linda from Merseyside I asked her if she knew anybody from Manchester, because I love Coronation Street and I wanted to do one in the
Oh.
Manchester area.
Mm-hmm.
And then I got the contact of Mike Sweeney. And so yeah, so I did BBC, and I sang live for them too.
Mm-hmm.
I have to say that I was very nervous because that's BBC,
Well,
but I
yeah,
did it,
around the
and that
world.
was
Yeah.
good. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, and they both invited me back to come to the UK. So I said one day I will definitely plan that trip, definitely to
That
go
will
there
be a
and
lot of fun.
be in their studio. Yeah,
Mhm.
and I just love their accent. So different.
It is. Well, they think we have the accent, but
No, 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 they got it.
closest closest I got to Manchester, we landed in Portsmouth, England one day on the way back from one of my med cruises when I was in the Navy. on this ship, as a matter of fact, USS America. And that was an interesting place, Portsmouth. Of course, it's a big Navy town. You know, British Navy has half their fleet there, I think. So, did that success with the BBC ever translate over to CBC Canada? Have you been on anywhere here?
I'm still trying to get on CBC actually.
Surprised that they haven't done an interview with you. We should fix
I'm
that.
surprised they haven't answered my email over the years that I've been sending. And actually, I've been given the email to actually send to them my music, and still I haven't gotten any response. I have been in the CBC Searchlight contest where you get votes to perform at the CBC festival or something that they do in Canada. I didn't get too far this year. I guess they just changed the voting pattern because
Possibly.
normally I get to third time to vote, so I get to third place.
Third round, yeah.
Third round, yeah.
Yeah.
But this time I just don't know what's going on. Everything is changing.
It seems like it. Well, the pandemic changed everything too, you know.
But when I join these kind of contests, I'm not in it necessarily to win it. I'm in it to be heard, to be recognized. But I think they just changed the whole thing around because the voting wasn't as long as normally they would have it. I don't know. It just felt different this year. But I'm glad I did it, and so I don't feel like why didn't I do it? If I did it, maybe something would have happened. But it didn't. But it's okay. But other doors have opened, so it doesn't.
Good. See,
once a door closes, something else comes. So you never know, right?
That's true. So your music, you call yourself a rocker. I've heard your stuff. You kind of span a couple of different genres. Nothing country and nothing really stood out as urban, but you have a lot of ballads, and and I've heard the hard rock stuff you do, which I just love. I mean, that's my stuff right there. What do you think your music kind of falls in? What do you think the best genre would you describe your music as?
Rock. Well, I don't like to be like categorized, but if somebody says what category would you put yourself in, I would say rock or hard rock or punk rock or soft rock, but I'm in the rock.
Yeah.
So,
no, of course.
Yeah. But I like to do different styles of rock, not always being heavy. I do a soft version, but it's still in the rock category.
Oh, of course. Well, I see your poster of Green Day back there. So, oh, you're a big Green Day fan, I see. Okay.
Yes, my whole room is Green Day, by the way.
Oh, wow.
I'm wearing a Green Day wristband.
Oh, wow. There you go.
Yeah, they are the reason I'm in music, and they are the reason I am still in rock. Because when I was 14 and I won that competition, I'm like, I want to be a singer. Yeah. But when their American Idiot album came out, I'm like, I want to be a rock singer, because I was still searching for what I wanted to do. And I didn't want to do pop because everybody does pop. I wanted to be different. I wanted to do my own thing.
Well, you know, it's interesting because, and I make this comment a lot, today in 2022, there's not a lot of rock product out there anymore, not like it used to be, especially anything that becomes quote unquote a hit on the Billboard charts. Years ago, it was much more mainstream where you had rock and pop and R&B and everything on the charts. Now everything is hip hop oriented. It's all,
I agree.
Everything is all plastic.
I agree. If there's any rock singers hiding around, come on out.
Oh, absolutely.
We rock is not dead. It's just hidden.
That's the best way I've heard it put. Yes, exactly.
Yeah,
I agree with that.
Because I listen to rock stations here in Ottawa, and I submitted my songs to them. They said, we love you, but we just don't play new music. We play the
classic rock. Yes.
But just them saying they would have played me if they could, made me feel so good because it means
I'm
they
sure it did.
like my music.
Mhm.
But oh yeah, it's difficult to find the right station, but you do find them eventually.
There's a few out there. The problem with most of the rock station back in the old days, about 40 years ago, you had album rock stations that literally just played mainly new, but some older stuff. And over the course of the 1980s, most of those turned into classic rockers. By the 90s, let's say, they all flipped to classic rock to differentiate between like the grunge genre that came out, with Nirvana and Alice in Chains and that stuff, and the older Bob Seger and that, and Green Day would be in part like a new, what they called active rock.
Right.
So you do have active rockers out there. The trouble is that they're kind of few and far between, and not every big city has one. There's most cities have one, but it might be a low powered one. All the big rockers are playing the classics, and that might be part of the problem, because but that end, people are looking online for music now. They're not, the young people under 30 are just not listening to over the air radio. Not here in the States. There was a study done within the past year, and I can't remember who did it. That wasn't the NAB. That showed that young people under 30, some ridiculously low number, like 15%, listen to over the air. And it broke it down to, they broke it down into questions like, do you ever listen to rock over the air radio? Do you sometimes listen to it, or would you never listen to it? And the overwhelming majority was like, I wouldn't touch radio with a 10-foot pole. Which is really a big problem. And it's a big problem for rock, because people will gravitate to what they hear. If they're not hearing new rock, they're not going to go out and search for it. Young people.
Exactly.
And if the rock genre is mainly a genre for those 35 and older, rock and roll's in trouble. So, and I don't think that rock and roll's never going to die. You and I both know that, but it might take quite a while to become mainstream again. So
yeah, but I'm just happy that I actually got a station in Alberta that had to put my song in a crank it, yank it contest to see if it would win a spot on the station. And that
that's cool.
And that was my song, The Frontline. And guess what? It won.
Yay.
So people voted for me to be on the station, because they said for new songs, we need to see if our listeners want it. And I agree. You want to test it out. I'm just so happy it worked. They told me people were calling in, sending them messages, saying them to play it. And now I'm in rotation. So
that's
I'm
great.
happy.
That's a success story. I like that.
Yeah.
So you brought your guitar?
Yes.
I wonder what can you do to treat the audience?
Well, I can play a song.
Yes, of course. It doesn't always work when I try to say something creative. It doesn't come out right all the time. But what do you have in mind?
Well, I was going to play, actually, this is funny because this is a song from my first EP that I ever released, which I recorded in England with Stuart Epps, Elton John's producer, Oasis producer, Twisted Sister. And I actually, Linda on BBC actually played this song live, like on the air, because she loved it. And this is the first song that started my career. The song that I wrote for the first time, and I wrote it about somebody that I liked. And actually, it's about wanting the guy you like to give you a chance to go out with them. And the person knows I wrote the song about them, and we are very good friends now. But he just loves that I wrote it. because it is a good song. It's not like a bad song. I'm not being mean. Plus, I don't write songs like that. I don't want to be mean, but this is just a song that I wrote in my room, and then I saw. I went to a songwriter. I improved upon it, and then it became a very good song. I was performing it all the time, and everybody was loving it. And then many years later, BBC decides to play it. I'm like, wow, the first
There you go.
song. Yeah.
Yeah, the first song you write gets played. That's great. So what's it called?
One Chance.
There you go.
Okay, I'm just gonna have to hear myself, so I have to take one out. Okay, so just let me. Okay, there we go. Get comfortable here. All right. This is actually BBC in Manchester also liked this song too. So yeah, so it's interesting. BBC played this song, which is really interesting. So, and Mike Sweeney said this song sounds very punky. So yeah, so it's gonna be. Does it sound okay? The
Yeah,
sound's coming out
sounds
now?
okay.
Okay, awesome. Okay, headphones stay in, don't fall out. Okay, let's do this. Racing hard in class today, when I see that smile come my way, and it's hard for me with the concrete chin to get knocked down, get up again. I don't want to stay behind these walls. I don't want to wait for him to call me. I just want to take the time it takes to make him know. If only I had one chance to take me with you, one more chance to make me feel the way you make me feel. And every day I know that we'll be together. One chance is all I need, and one more chance to make you see. You and I will always have one more chance and one more laugh, one more smile that makes us sad. This goes by in 2 more weeks, and I'm stuck behind these memories, and it's hard for me to just let go, to just move on and start again. I don't want to stay behind these walls. I don't want to wait for him to call me. I just want to take the time it takes to make him know. If only I had one chance to take me with you, one more chance to make me feel the way you make me feel. And every day I know that we'll be together. One chance is all I need, and one more chance to make you see. You and I will always have one more chance and one more laugh, one more smile that makes us. And when the world around me stops spinning around, all the lights behind me fade and flickers out. If you say you need me, don't say it's over now. One chance to take me with you, one more chance to make me feel the way you make me feel. And every day I know that we'll be together. One chance is all I need, and one more chance to make you see. You and I will always have one more chance. One chance to take me with you, one more chance to make me feel the way you make me feel. And every day I know that we'll be together. One chance is all I need, and one more chance to make you see that you and I always have just one more chance. You and me. You and me. You and me, oh, you and me.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
Yay.
Yay. Yay.
You know, I hear the passion in your voice when you sing it. So,
Thank
you know, it's one of
you.
your favorites. So, um,
This is
you,
actually my favorite song to start with at my shows
Mhm.
because it's just the song that gets people to know this is me, this
Mhm.
is my song, and then I mix it up with covers and original, and I
Mhm.
always end it with the Green Day song "Good Riddance."
Oh yeah, well there you go.
Yeah.
Now you said that you Elton John's producer.
Mhm.
Now I want to make sure I get this right because I remember you saying it before I got into the song. You worked with him on it.
Stuart Epps, yeah.
Stuart Epps. Yeah, and that's a familiar name. So
I'm
that's
sure.
great that that's great that you get to work with somebody famous like that right off the bat.
Well, it happened it happened like they always say things can happen at any moment, right? Do you want me to tell you the story?
Of course I do.
Okay,
I think that's
so
great.
I think this was in 2010 when I was in college doing the pre-music production program. I took it for 2 years because it's a 1-year program, but I would have never been able to do all that workload in 1 year. So I did it 2 years. But in 2010, I did a producer's class where either the producers come in or they call in. Back in the day, we had the computers and the webcam, and that
Oh
was
yeah.
way back in the day before all the technology has
Mhm.
changed now. But yeah, so he saw me on the webcam. My teacher pointed it the computer a certain way so he could see me. And back then I was very shy. I had my hood up and I was hiding all the time. That was just me back then. Sometimes I still do that. But but then he asked my teacher, who is that girl on the left hand side? Because he was pointing this way, so on the left hand side. And I'm like, Lou, I think it's me. And then I don't know why, because before he asked for me, he asked the class who plays the instrument, who writes, who sings. So I raised my hand for every question that he asked. So I think that just got him interested to ask me some questions. So after he chose me, he said, this is a very interesting question he asked me. He said, do you follow the songwriting structure or do you do it your own way? Well, at that time, I did it my own way. But if I wanted to get on radio, I knew I had to do it the actual way to be radio friendly and radio commercial. So, yeah. And then he kept on asking me more questions, which I can't remember. And then on the spot, he says, oh, just a question. Do you have any demos? I'm like, yeah.
Oh wow. Yeah, the light bulb turns on. Oh wow.
Yeah, I'm actually writing songs right now, I have stuff. And then he said, I'm gonna tell Lou, your teacher, to give you my email because I want to work with you.
Oh wow.
Yeah, in
See,
front
I'm
of
that
40
great.
people, in front of 40 people in the
Oh
college
wow.
classroom. I swear I thought that they were gonna hate me. And then sorry about
That's
that.
all right.
And then I don't know what happened. That
Did
was
your
weird.
screen freeze up on you or?
Yeah, I honestly, everything's plugged in. I don't know
No,
what
everything's
happened.
working fine on this end though.
Okay,
Okay.
as long as you got you didn't lose
No,
anything.
we do. Well, I
Okay.
have it recording on my own computer as well as the cloud, so I have a backup if something happens.
Okay.
Yep.
Anyway, that was very weird. Anyway, so then my teacher Lou says, remember what I told you guys earlier today? Anything can happen at any moment. And I'm like doing this. Oh God. Oh God.
Yep.
I was as soon as I got out of the classroom, I ran to my dad and said, Dad, I think I just got an opportunity of my life because like that was the first ever opportunity I ever got, because that's how it all started. And then I met Chris and then I got Kent Wells with Dolly Parton. So I have to just say it's being at the right place at the right time.
It is. You told me about Kent Wells and Dolly Parton's producer before we started this recording. How in the world did that happen?
I know. Let's see. Well, I'll tell you what led to it. So that was in 2015. I walked away from my friends that I didn't feel were right. So I did I did a big change in my life. And then I was searching online for songwriters and people I can work with for my next project. Then I met with somebody online that knew Kent Wells, and she organized a whole trip for me to do a music video songwriting session recording. That's how I got to Kent. And then that's when I wrote Hurt and about my leaving my friends. But Kent was fabulous. And it's funny, Kent asked me, do you have one question you want to ask me before we start working? I'm like, yeah. Is Dolly Parton as nice as she is on TV in person? He's like, oh, she is just wonderful. She is one of the nicest people you will ever meet. I'm like, I know. I can totally see it.
She has done so much in the charitable realm as well. You know, she's been known to just bring money to people that need it. I mean, it's just, I've just heard nothing but that she's the most lovable, loving person and one of the nicest performers in Nashville. And thank goodness she's still around. Much of her generation isn't, you know.
I actually sang in her booth. I sang in front of the mic she sang at. I saw her.
Oh, great.
I saw her frames on the way to the studio in the hallway of the studio. But I did not meet her because she didn't have a session while I was there. But I could have.
That would have been really nice.
But I could definitely feel her in the room. Like, oh my God, she was right here, you know, like it's amazing. Yeah.
Oh, wow. It's almost like you felt the spirit of Dolly as you sing. See, there you go. Oh gosh. Hey, thanks for coming on camera. This is nice. We've got it for the listeners and the viewers. This is going to be on the Airchexx Classic Radio YouTube channel, which is an officer. It's our official airchexx.com YouTube channel. This is music related. It's also radio related. And that channel, by the way, Sabrina, is all classic radio stations. I put up recordings and make videos out of them now because people aren't going to static websites as much as they used to. It's all social media now. And we're also on the Time Machine on WBLQ Tuesday night. So if you're hearing this on WBLQ, now you know why. Yep. So Chris gets to hear, Chris and Brian get to hear you again.
And DJ Gadget.
Yep.
Don't forget DJ Gadget.
I think, I offered DJ Gadget to install the software so that she can, as we call it, track the WBLQ time machine that I do at night.
Oh, nice.
So that she can be on a different time frame if she wants to.
Yeah.
Because I know she does the Saturday time machine.
Yeah, she does.
But I always it's also nice to have another person that I can call on when I need a night off. Because I work rather late sometimes on these outdoor jobs that I do. So sometimes I need an extra body, but I want to thank you for coming on. This is great having you on here.
And thank you.
Wanted to speak to you for a long time.
Yes, and thank you for this opportunity. This is great. Yeah.
Very welcome. And
I've
you can
never
come back
performed
anytime.
live for WBLQ, so